Okay, everyone's rolling. Yeah, I don't.
We are.
I'm not sure because we don't have an intro. I don't know how to progress from your normal rubbish talk.
So that there's no split.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to cast aspersions on the great team here, but there was buttons before. I'm just saying. So
We can manage.
I'm good with it though.
Yeah.
You feel comfortable, Stephen? Has it been a good week for you?
It's been good. Yeah, big week, big day yesterday.
Big day, big week, mate.
Yeah.
It's not just a day.
But just the keynote was.
Can I just ask you a really important question?
Yep.
And I hope my wife doesn't hear this, but how many days did you get between Taiwan and here?
3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, tight.
No, but that's good. That's 3 more than I did.
So yeah, you were direct because we were both in Taiwan last week for Computex. For those who weren't listening to the show last week.
Well, why not?
Trev decided he wants to go direct, and I decided no, I'll go home. Things to do.
It was a strategic.
Why didn't you go home? Can I ask you why didn't you go home?
Early on in the planning when we talked about Computex, I assumed it was like a week-long thing. It was going to take several days.
You know what I've told you about assuming?
Yeah, you have told me.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough rubbish talk because there's no intro. We are in Apple Park. We are at WWDC,
Yes,
and you're listening to Two Blokes Talking Tech. Episode, Stephen, number 637.
Yeah, correct.
I've remembered for the first time and not had to look it up. Thanks to the great people at Netgear and Arlo. And we are in the Apple podcast studio, so thank you to Apple for accommodating us once again. We were talking about this. Would you reckon it was 2017, the first?
I think it was. We were in the convention centre in San Jose.
Yeah, and they had this kind of elevated above.
Yeah, we were sort of looking down on a big room of... I think it was all the developers were meeting downstairs.
It was like a solid
audio
of
only.
podcasting.
Audio, it was. Yeah, it was a big tick for us to be invited into the studio, and here we are. What is it now? 7 years later.
I blame everyone here, the crew here, for the amount of work I now need to do every Wednesday because we've gone video.
Yes, true. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's Apple's fault that I don't get home till 11 o'clock at night on a Wednesday having to edit videos.
Why do you think? Because they started filming
Because we started filming and we realised
when we were here, we
how
said
amazing
we should
the
keep
show
doing
was.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
All right, we're here for Dub, and every year, and everyone listening knows the drum here. This is the Nerd Fest for developers, the people that make the apps that we all love and use, and they get to hear, as does the rest of the world, about the software changes that are coming across all Apple products across the year.
Yep.
We will get to those software changes a bit later.
Yeah.
We talked about it 2 weeks ago in our preview. We've been talking about it for a long time. The bottom line that we both agreed was this event had to deliver AI. Yes. It had to deliver it strongly. Simple question, did it?
I think it did. Early on, I knew that there was the order to the keynote was they kicked off with all the updates.
And they felt snappy.
And I think it was hard to keep up, but I knew that they were saving the best to last. And we were right. We did anticipate.
Hour and 15 in before they got to.
We anticipated that this was going to be, I think, the sort of the cornerstone of the whole keynote, and I think they delivered. And typical Apple style, AI doesn't stand for artificial intelligence; it stands for Apple intelligence.
But there's a genius to that, right? Because I think artificial intelligence has a bit of a negative connotation to it in society at the moment because of some of and there's been some stories this week we don't want to touch on, but AI has some negative connotations to it. So by rebranding and not using that explicitly in a public way, you're saying Apple intelligence. So what does Apple intelligence deliver? And then you list a bunch of things without having to ever mention artificial intelligence, without having to ever essentially compete with even Microsoft and others when there's no talk about TOPS and processing and all that stuff. There's just talk about capabilities. And
then the context too. I think they also mentioned, the line was AI for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Is the tagline that they use also, which sort of, I think kind of is Apple's way of sort of separating themselves from, okay, this is how we do it and this is how the customers are going to do it. And the whole, I like how the focus was on how contextual it was for you on devices that already know you very well.
I think the quote I remember was they talked about instead of world knowledge, they're looking at personal intelligence. And it's all about my phone knows more about me than my wife.
Okay.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
That's just a guarantee. If you quiz my wife on my most dialed numbers and stuff, she'd get it all wrong.
Isn't it hers, the most dialed number?
It's probably you. I would ring you way more than her.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a big texter with your wife.
Yeah.
You're a texter,
you love
right?
a chat.
I do.
How many times have you called Joe today?
Twice.
What time is it? It's the it's the end of the day.
Twice.
You've called Joe twice today.
Twice.
You know how many times I've called Amanda?
0
in the last 2 weeks. Yeah.
So how do you not hear a voice? Like, I don't understand. Because
I think it's more about her not hearing mine.
Okay.
I think that's the positive
All right.
that's being taught from.
You're doing her a favour. All right.
Yeah. So personal intelligence, and the concept there is your phone knows really well who you're communicating with via text, via email.
Yeah. And knows who your family is.
Who's in your contacts.
Yeah, knows your wife and your kids.
Your calendar. It knows what apps you use. And so why not create a metric of all that information, private and secure on device in the very strong Apple way. You know, this is private, this is secure, right?
Yep.
Why not put all that together and build an engine, which is called Apple Intelligence, that is able to interpret that, read that, understand that, and deliver different contextual outcomes because of that knowledge. That's really what it is, right?
100% agree. And we've both been to other announcements by other companies about their AI.
Yep.
And it didn't seem to me to have that same intimate focus. It had a sort of a big picture focus.
Yeah.
And didn't really dig deeper to a personal level of AI. It was a more corporate, a more working level of AI rather than a personal level of AI.
Now, I think the place that I would say Samsung and Microsoft got the beat. Well, they got the beat on everything, but the two areas where Apple is playing massive catch-up is in like writing assistance. So when I'm typing an email, typing a document, I can summon something to help me write it more professionally. Can you rewrite this, make it more casual, those kind of things.
Yep.
Galaxy S24, done.
Definitely.
Microsoft Copilot, done. And that was a year ago, right?
Yep.
So that's a bit of catch-up. But then the intelligence that I like, so I'm a Gmail man, you know that. Yep. I've got the button in Gmail that I can click summarise on an email. But the smarts here is you go, and this is the example I've been using almost all week on the radio, is when you open up your phone and you click on the mail app, you normally see, 7 to 8 emails in the inbox, you know, that are in the list. You see the name of the person and you see the first 3 lines or 2 lines of the email.
Yeah, you see the preview.
Hey, Steve, hope you're well.
Yeah, and that's and then you got to open it.
Say good at Joe for me.
Yeah,
that doesn't tell me what the email's about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what Apple's doing is they're using Apple Intelligence. Yeah. They're saying every time an email comes in, we're going to summarise it and we're going to use that summary in that screen so that when you glance at your phone and go, 7 emails, man, what am I going to do? You can go up, delete. Oh, that's important because I know what it's about.
Normally that's in the strength of the subject line. If they can write a good subject line, I know if in 10 seconds I'm going to keep that email. But with the actual summary in that small space, then that makes it
I'll give you
even
an
easier.
example. PR.
Yeah.
One of the most common emails we get are PR releases about a new product, a thing, whatever.
Yep.
Mate, it's a dark art getting a journo's attention, right?
Yes.
Subject line will normally tell you what the product is, but what's the purpose of this email? Is it a new product? Are you trying to get on the Today Show? Are you trying to get me and Stephen to record? Like, what is it? Give me that in 2 lines. I'm all in. So you know full well I don't use the Apple Mail app on my phone.
I do.
What do you think I'm going to do from iOS 18?
Yeah.
I'm all in.
You're back in. Okay. Just when you're out, they pull you back in.
And it's a feature set, right? And it paints a picture that it's well and good that Google have the capability to summarise an email, but you've got to use it in a better way.
I like how it goes even deeper than that. I like how that it can even prioritise some of your messages. Like you were saying, full inbox, having the summary aside, it can even look at there are emails with dates and invitations and bookings and make them priority in your mail. It's the same thing applies to notifications. I think that was another good feature.
Oh, that's a great...
Pull up the notification.
I keep forgetting...
Priority notifications.
This is the problem with DubDub. We sat for an hour and 45 listening to stuff.
You can read Tech Guide, mate. I've written all about them, okay?
Oh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to myself. No, techguide.com.au, you got all the info. I've got 2 pages of notes, right?
Yep.
But the problem for us with DubDub is, and we've talked about this before, you don't get a heads up. You don't know what's being announced.
No, yeah.
And so there's a bunch of things announced.
Nice if we did.
Be wonderful. Anyone send us a note. Once I got to, I've probably nailed iOS. I'm going to bash out the iOS story now.
Yeah.
And then while I'm bashing out that story, probably 2 of them, one for 9 news, one for... I've missed 10 minutes of something, of course, and then you go to the next lot of notes. So there's things you miss and forget. I reckon that notification thing may be the game changer. If, here's the thing, if it works across all apps, right? Because if it only works on iMessage, I don't use iMessage as much as I use WhatsApp, right?
Across apps,
my chat thread with the boys, if I go dark for 10 hours on a plane, when I get back, the idea with Apple Intelligence is I'm not going to see that there's 200 messages. I'm just going to get a little, just so you know, Flipsy said this, Jolly's that, Stig said this, and we're moving on. You know, you got a simple summary. You don't have to recap 10 hours worth of messages. Powerful.
Sorting the email is very important. I think Smart Reply was another good one too, where it looks at the content of the email and it sees if there might be some couple of questions asked. Can you make it? How are you going to get there? The date? And then it then creates a little tick boxes on how you want to reply.
I'll put that in the catch-up category. Like Google's had that for a long time where you can just, got to reply. Right. But the theory here is that, and this is, I think, what's critical, right? You play catch-up, but how far ahead do you jump, right? You think about a race. We're both sports fans. It's all well and good to come from behind and get close. But if you also get a length ahead. So for me, I never use those smart replies in Google. But if Apple Intelligence is going to have a bit more context and knows better about me, that's the thing for me. I need to learn me and what matters to me.
And the good thing, I've been saying this a lot on the radio too, is that it's gonna make the ecosystem even more valuable to the customer. I think that the thing that Microsoft and Samsung and those other companies don't have is the full breadth of products that this can be used on. So, like, Samsung's got a phone, Microsoft has got a PC, but what else have they got? You got their email and all that, but here, that sort of that familiar framework that binds them all together, I think that's going to be.
But that's also critical, right?
Killer feature too.
Nearly all of this is familiar. It's just kind of replacing what you see now. So when you turn on your phone after landing in a plane for 10 hours, your notifications, it's still there, but it's just a different way of presenting it to you. So it's not a new thing to learn. It's just a new way of presenting it.
I might turn on my notifications now then.
Because you don't use it.
Because I famously don't have my the only notifications I have is for messages, phone calls and WhatsApp. That's all. So maybe this might be a way for me to not be overwhelmed by notifications, because I read a story last week about people getting phone anxiety because of all the notifications they're getting. So this might be a way for them to better manage your notifications and reduce that anxiety. There you go.
So there's going to be a little, I don't think there's a name for it other than Apple Intelligence logo, a little icon. It looks very similar to all the other ones. You know, the Google Gemini one. It's a kind of a star. It's a circle.
Why are they all stars? It's like a
I don't know. I don't know. It's like space, the future.
Shoot for the stars. Maybe.
So that will appear in places. And the way I understand it, and again, I have not gone dev mode on any of my devices. I probably will at some point, but a lot of this stuff is actually rolling out slowly, so a lot of it isn't actually available. The Apple Intelligence stuff, to be clear, feels like it's a 12-month thing. It's not an iOS 18 launch thing.
I think it's a rollout. It's not going to be a launch. It's a rollout. And you've got to remember, we're not going to get it till iOS 18. So we've got a little bit of time. And let's talk about who can use it, what devices can use it.
Because that's critical. That's
pretty limiting if you think just on the iPhone side. It's only someone with an iPhone 15.
15 Pro and Pro Max.
So there you go. So 15 Pro,
remember,
Pro
the silicon is difference between the standard 15 and Plus.
And M family of iPads and
Silicons, Apple Silicon.
I think just on that, and you mentioned that Apple never really made a big point of tops and went too deep in the weeds on a technical perspective. But the fact that the all the way back to M1 can handle Apple Intelligence really says a lot about how they prepared, I think, for this. It's like, okay, we're going to need this extra grunt down the track for this. So we're all, the speculation before this was that, all right, is Apple playing catch up? Are they just being cagey? They're not telling us anything. And I asked this question last week at Computex. The PC side, there are partners everywhere, so everyone knows what everyone's doing. When it comes to Apple, only Apple knows what Apple's doing. So good to see that an M1 can still, and that's what you took in 3 years ago, an M1 product.
Well, that's all about the neural processing, right? That's why they've been talking about it for a long time.
And again, the machine learning, it's the background now brought into the foreground. And Craig Federighi in that little, remember we had little State of the Union in Steve Jobs Theatre when he was talking about, well, you've been using AI all along. And I think the example he used was, when you take that photo, there's all this stuff happening in the background to make that photo amazing. That's AI.
So, but the thing about that compatibility thing. Now, let's be clear. iOS 18, when we talk about it, that goes back to iPhone XR.
Yeah.
Right. So that goes back. That's 6 years.
Yeah.
But Apple Intelligence requires this extra grunt.
Yes.
So
it's the A17
it
Pro
is
chip.
for the first time. You know how people say, "Oh, they're doing this again to make us upgrade our phones." You get that every year. I get it every year, right?
Yeah.
And most of the time, I'm like, I don't think you appreciate that iOS 18 it goes back 5 or 6 years.
True.
And 17, they've all done that. Apple is the most supportive of older devices than any other company.
Yep.
But for the first time, if this stuff interests you, you do need a new device if you don't have a 15
what
Pro.
a better way to upsell then, eh?
Does that mean the 16 will be the biggest selling iPhone in some time? Will the hype
Potentially,
of this create that?
My question to you is, will the I know you said there's the 15, it's only the 15 Pro Max. So will the 16 get it?
Well, the 16 should theoretically get the
you
chip
think you
from
would,
the Pro and Pro Max, right?
True. So you think so 16 all models upwards.
I think all 16s.
We're all good for that.
Yep.
And M family is already here.
It's already here, yeah.
So interesting.
So
but no, I reckon you're right. This could be give people a reason to think, right, you know what, it's time to upgrade.
Now, just to be like, I think it's very clear now to people that I don't have insight into what Apple's doing because I was
I do. Didn't you hear?
wrong. Like it wasn't Siri AI. Like I still think that's a missed opportunity.
No, hang on a minute. I don't think. Well, Siri still.
No, the name. They haven't gone with that as a brand.
I look personally. I don't think they were ever going to change the name.
Yeah,
but
that's because you sit on a fence, mate.
No, but I think what we expected to happen to Siri happened. We
did it though.
It was I called it a long-awaited upgrade.
What's your understanding of how smart Siri is actually going to be with Apple Intelligence?
Well, I think you're only as smart as the data you're given. You're only as smart as the platform behind you.
Okay, so here's my understanding. Here's my understanding. There's an extra and a big extra level of smarts based on what happens on your phone. So integrating with apps, if a developer chooses to put it through, ask Siri to order my favourite meal at my local pizza joint, right? If the app supports it, if I've got a favourite and all that kind of stuff, that can work because an app can make that happen. Ask Siri to do things with things like contacts, mail, calendars.
Yeah, well, I think
that
was
should
one example,
theoretically be good.
Ask Siri, like, play the podcast that my wife sent me last week.
Yeah.
Or open, like the example I think Craig used was pull up all the files that was. Or
your wife doesn't know what a podcast is.
Yes. You're both our wives. But I pull the files that Trevor sent me last week.
Yeah. But remember this, the big, I guess, gripe that I and a lot of people have had with Siri over the years is its lack of intelligence generally, where you say, what is this thing or what is that thing? And it says, let me show you some results on the web. I'm out.
Yeah, okay.
But
right.
Is that where the ChatGPT integration comes in?
Well,
is it that I don't know the answer, so let me ask over here? Or is the ChatGPT integration only for more complex requests?
I think so. My understanding is that Apple Intelligence has its own platform, and that on device and working hard.
Yep.
And the ChatGPT is kind of the let me consult. It's the PRA answer of let me get back to you on that. I'll just consult with someone.
They're very good at that.
Yeah,
they never get back to you. Do you realise that? They never get back.
That's
if I had $1 for every time a PR said, I'll get back to you on that.
I'll get back.
I would have paid off my house. But so if we ask Siri now, in what year did Stephen Fennick play for the Rabbitohs? Siri's going to say, here's some results I found on the web. Right?
You don't think she'd know that already, or? Maybe
don't make me check.
Not, no.
That would be embarrassing for you, okay?
Don't check.
But in a world of Apple Intelligence, what does Siri do? Does Siri say, I don't know, and here's the web? Or does Siri say, why don't we try and ask? Like, that's what I'm not fully understanding. I need to understand at what point is ChatGPT inspired or brought into
My other question is around the ChatGPT deal, the access that Siri now has. Will say I've got an iPhone 14 and I don't have Apple Intelligence, but I have the internet.
Yeah.
So can Siri use ChatGPT for me if I have a 14?
So the example of I've got these ingredients, what can I make with it?
Yeah.
There's no reason why Siri can't, because it doesn't require Apple Intelligence.
That's like a Google search almost, but.
There's no reason. Like, you're asking, can an iPhone 13 summon information from ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Because ChatGPT is not Apple Intelligence.
No. And it does, because it's off the device, doesn't require that processing. So is that kind of the second prize for if you've got an older iPhone? you can still kind of have a bit of AI. Is that? Do you know that or not? Or is it just going to be all in, full on, or not on with this?
Do I need to keep the drink bottle because I drank out of it?
I don't think anyone else would want to drink out of that.
I think it'll be a roadblock.
So
I think
it's all or nothing.
Yeah, I think it's.
Right.
I think the ChatGPT route is part of Apple Intelligence.
Yep.
So I've described it as a walled garden of intelligence.
Yep.
And, all your Apple products and all of Apple's knowledge about you is in there privately and securely on device. If you want to go outside that, there's gates. The first gate they've built is ChatGPT. You can open the gate, but critically, they will ask you if you want to open the gate, and you choose to open the gate.
Yeah.
And we'll get to all that in a minute. But
the privacy side of things.
The idea is that they can create a gate for Gemini as well. They can create a gate for other AI intelligence, right?
Because if I just downloaded the ChatGPT app and paid for the account, I could use that on my phone today, couldn't I?
And in theory, if the app is built with the right Siri integrations, does Siri get smarter on an iPhone 13
to
then summon that?
That's what I'd like to know.
Well, Stephen, what you have failed to realise is this is a podcast between two blokes who don't work at Apple. I can't answer the bloody question.
Yeah, where's Tim Cook when you need him? Is he around?
He's going to come in when the counter gets to 2 seconds left. I'm just
expecting him to, okay, boys, how are you? Good to see you again. Yeah.
Your expectation levels are vastly separated from reality.
Well, you can only dream, mate. You can only dream. Should we talk about the privacy? Privacy, which has always been, it was really like front and centre, one of the main pillars of Apple Intelligence.
When they did that list, it was like personal,
Oh, yeah.
I had 1,000 on privacy being the last and most important one.
Absolutely right. And I think that the fear, I know Apple's always had that. It's a very strong part of the business there. That's their mantra is, we respect privacy. It's a human right. And all the questions I've had on the radio too, and TV and you as well, is all about, well, how much can we believe that? And I said, look, it's a gold plate guarantee. If they're going to tell you it's private, you can trust that. But then we hear about the tweets from your mate Elon Musk, and really sort of going off without really knowing the facts.
Listen, this is our podcast, so I can say what I want. On national TV, I called him a goose.
Okay.
On the radio, I called him a Fruit Loop.
Yep.
We'll record later on the private feed.
Yes.
And I'll use some choice words. But for now, I'll stick with Fruit Loop.
He's a listener too. G'day, Elon.
Mate, if Elon Musk was a listener, I would have been hunted down and shot by now.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no doubt.
At least drive a Tesla, just so you know.
He's an idiot, right? It's just I don't know what time it was, but I think it was during the keynote.
It was during the keynote, yes, yeah.
He tweets.
Hadn't even finished.
I'm not going to look it up because he doesn't deserve the views.
Yeah.
He tweets something along the lines: if Apple is integrating OpenAI at the operating system level, then it's an outrage. It's a privacy and security nightmare. He went on to say that he'll ban those devices from
put them in a Faraday cage. How dumb! Yeah.
He debated and had arguments with people, including Marcus Brownlee, about this very thing.
Yeah.
And
it made headlines, and we had to answer these questions on TV and radio.
He completely derailed Dub because it changed the topic of the conversation on most of our mainstream media. The fact is, Apple were very clear, and I just described it in my own words, and I don't think Craig Federighi would disagree. Walled garden, secure, private on device, and outside a door if you want to go to OpenAI, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, there is also a cloud component. It's a bit complicated, but essentially there's an Apple cloud which is encrypted and private
cloud,
and basically it has the capability to do a bit more that your phone can't.
Yeah.
But it's this basically one-to-one connection. You get your own spun up cloud.
And anonymous too, so there's no way of identifying your data.
Once it's done the job, it's
out.
rid of it, right?
Yeah.
But this ChatGPT thing, here's my understanding is this. If you log on to ChatGPT on a computer today and ask a question, it theoretically knows your IP address. If you're not logged in, by the way, you're not paying.
Yep.
It knows your IP address. It knows a lot about you. It knows you did this. And it probably logs that request, right? Under the agreement that Apple has with ChatGPT, when you make that request as a non-logged in user and you say, Siri says you want to use ChatGPT, you say yes. The request alone is sent. And ChatGPT is not allowed to log the request or any of the data relating to the user. It simply creates an answer, sends it back, and the job is done.
So
it's actually more private and secure
than a regular
to use ChatGPT via Siri.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Than it is
And
on a browser.
I understand too that
he's a goose.
They're not going to keep your data. They're not going to store your data. And they've said it's going to be verifiable if they've used your data.
Yep.
But they also said they're not going to learn off your data either.
Yep.
You know how it goes into
no
a
one
bank.
want to learn off my data.
And but that's another level of security.
Talk about hallucinations in AI. Imagine you learn off my data. Imagine you read EFTM and you thought that was English.
Yeah, there you go. But bottom line,
the
private
background
and secure.
here, background here, though, I think it's really critical that people understand. He's not just a Fruit Loop tweeting randomly to a massive platform. 190 million people follow him, and I think with great reach comes responsibility, and I don't think he's using that responsibility at all. He's not declaring that he was. If you're new to this and you don't know that he was an original investor in OpenAI,
there's a bit of background to
he
that,
withdrew his funding to the company when they had a disagreement about the direction of the company, and when he wanted to become CEO and go to a profit versus non-profit model. He got the irrits, and he walked out and took his money and his baby toys and he went running.
Yeah, he tossed the toys out of the cot. I read his biography, the Walter Isaacson biography, and that's a lot. That's a lot in that about it.
Oh, really?
And he really had the experience he had with them. No doubt. There's no wonder he's held a grudge.
And he has his own AI strategy at X, right?
Yeah.
So what he's filthy at is that he didn't get the call from Tim to say, mate, how about we do a deal?
Good luck. Yeah.
Like that's what he's filthy about. Yeah. It's nothing other than muckraking.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's a loose unit.
That's the furthest you'll go, is it?
Yeah.
Loose unit.
Well, he's my phone's ringing, by the way. Who are we ringing this time of day?
Just to be clear, among the professionals
my video doorbell?
here, mate, among the professionals here, firstly, my phone is in on-air mode, which means my wife could call and it will not ring.
It was silent, though. It didn't ring.
Yeah, well, why'd you bring it up?
It was because it was buzzing in my back pocket.
If you're on Channel 10 right now, would you go, my phone's just ringing right now?
No.
I just think you're not giving the respect this podcast deserves.
No, it was
it's
just
like
buzzing.
It's our first episode. 637 episodes and you're still worried about your phone ringing.
I'm sorry, mate. I've seen you text message during our podcast.
I'm a very good
when I'm talking, I've seen you send emails.
Well, maybe you should talk with more interest. Okay? Maybe I pay more attention.
Should we? Do you want to talk about what else happened here with the iOS update?
Yeah, let's get into the...
Should we switch up now, mate?
Switch it up and move to iOS 18. Okay. Now, a lot of solid rumours were confirmed by this, and I don't know what that says about the people getting the rumours or the people at Apple. But anyway, I used to like it when we didn't know what was coming. But I don't mind it now because we can pre-write some articles. App icons movable around the screen to much great customization and excitement, right?
Now, how many people? I know you're not on Twitter anymore, but how many people reached out and go, Android? I did that before.
Oh, mate, I'm planning a video where I go, this is remarkable. Wait till you see this. I've never seen this before. Just to spur on the haters.
But it's
going to be great.
But I think there's still, with all respect to Android users, there's still a lot of iPhone users, Apple users, right?
That have never seen this.
They're in the Apple bubble. Never seen it.
So we're talking about two things with customization.
Yep.
Forever, since the first day, you could arrange icons, but they would start from the top of the screen down.
Yes.
And so you could never have all your icons at the bottom of the screen. And the real defense here of Apple in this move is we've now gotten to a point where all the phones are big. Yeah. And so the bottom of the screen is actually more accessible.
Much to yours.
It's ridiculous. Give me back a mini. Come on. So you want the accessibility of the lower buttons, right?
Absolutely.
So that's one reason for it. But also just we take beautiful photos. The photos are a beautiful background.
Yeah.
Let's make them. Let's not cover up my kids' faces with app icons, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing.
I just choose a different picture, mate.
Okay.
I have them on. They'll have something on the lock screen. You see more of them on the lock screen.
Yeah.
And then is that what you did? You have the same?
What's on your lock screen?
Just a pattern, just colours. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's not your children?
No.
Wow, mine's my favourite child.
Is that right? Your favourite child? Your car. Your car's up there. I don't feel so bad now. I was waiting for you to pull out a picture of your family.
Who did you think it was going to be?
I thought it was going to be Harry. Yeah, Harry. I know he's your favourite.
Oh, okay, you can't say that. You can't. He's not. Jackson.
No,
he's not.
Just joke. All right. But no, that's what I normally do. I normally have, if there's a picture, I normally put it like my mum, God love her, right? There's a nice photo of her and my dad.
Nice, yeah.
And on her lock screen, I put that on her lock screen so she can see it.
But the wallpaper.
But then when the icons are over it, she does, and there was no way I wasn't going to teach you how to move apps or anything. Right? So
Will
I said,
you
let's
now?
put a different one. Maybe, yeah.
You'll put a photo of yourself.
I swear, I thought
You'll
of my
put
dad.
a photo of yourself.
No, I thought of that photo. It's a nice photo of them in front of the Sydney Opera House, right?
Yeah.
And I thought of that when like the photo that Craig had was of a dog, you know,
Yeah.
the dog. And I thought of my mum. I'm thinking, oh, that'll be good for mum. I'll do that for her.
So the other part of this customization thing is the colorizing of apps.
Yes.
And this is a huge trend. Even my wife got Jackson to help her with this.
So the colour codes.
Firstly, a lot of people, what they do is they take all the green coloured apps and put them on one page, the blue coloured apps in different folders.
Are people so OCD like that?
Yeah, and
really?
there's other people that go with like you can get third-party widgets and things that actually create different colour app shortcuts.
Really?
So if you use Siri shortcuts, you know, all that complicated programming stuff, it's far too complicated, by the way, Siri shortcuts.
Yep.
You can kind of create an app icon that launches that app, and so you can make it all black and white.
Yep.
What they've done is just given people the ability to do that from the get-go. And you can basically go, I want all my apps to look green or blue or whatever it is, and it's done with a touch of a button. It's actually not a massive deal breaker, but it's cool, and I think it's a
just gives people choice. It gives them options.
It's a nod to what people are doing with their phones.
Well, with all respect, I think there wasn't much you could until they introduced widgets and stuff. There's not a lot you can do to the home screen.
Can we just talk about something I just want to mention?
What's that?
That they always do with these things, and I always try to have a look at.
Yeah.
That when they're doing, like Craig's doing a demo of this, right? And he's got a reminders widget on his phone. Did you see what the reminders were?
Well,
he had 3 reminders.
The devil's in the details. What is it?
Restring guitar, get haircut, and charge car. He's got to be a reminder to charge his car.
Guitar.
Restring guitar. Well, it's obviously needs new strings.
Okay.
The detail that goes into these things.
Get a haircut.
Get a haircut. There's always going to be something about his hair, wasn't it?
He's got a solid mane, I've got to say. A really good
there's
mane.
no need to bring that up. The detail that goes into it is pretty epic.
Yeah.
And I think people will love that personalisation. It's about the biggest personalisation update since widgets.
Yeah.
Which, again, had been on Android for a long time.
What do you think about locking and hiding apps?
Oh, well, let me tell you
how many questions do we ask about this one?
AM radio stations. Oh, that's interesting. You can hide an app about, like my example is you hide a weight loss app. You know, you don't want everyone to know what your weight loss journey is.
Or
I'll hide that. FM radio stations. Oh, cheating husbands can hide their apps. I'm like, oh man, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, went to that straight away. Didn't it? Yeah, hide Tinder or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah.
But it's the thing is.
But I thought of it as you might have like medical records, information that you don't want people to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a good
And how often do you give
it.
your phone to someone?
Not a lot, to be honest.
Never. I never give my phone to anyone. I've got nothing to hide, but like, has your wife ever wanted to look at your phone?
No.
Me neither. Like,
despite everything I say, we do have a great level of trust.
I could leave my phone, and she knows my passcode.
Yeah,
I could leave my phone at
passcode.
home, and she would not touch my phone.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't touch hers either. It's not,
But I think if you're one of those people, like, I don't know, friendship groups, younger people than us oldies, sitting around at a lunch or dinner or just having a chin
wanting to share their photos.
Yeah, no, well,
just
don't
swipe too far.
Earlier today, you were sitting at your computer. If you hadn't been sitting at your computer when I said to you a certain news story had broken, I might have just handed you my phone so you could read the story.
Yes.
Now, if I went to the toilet while you were doing that, you might have swiped away and gone, what's his latest? What's his Weight Watchers points, I'll lock that.
Yeah, okay.
I'll lock that up. Okay. I don't mind it. And again, a hidden folder, folder of hidden apps.
Yeah.
I, again, don't have iOS 18, can't check it. But where is it hidden? How do I know it's hidden? How do I unlock it?
There is a little subfolder. You know when you swipe
all the way to the app library.
Yeah, there's a little square library.
Yes, but can you see the icons?
No. Apparently, everyone is going to have a folder that says hidden apps.
Right.
And until you unlock the phone, the apps won't appear.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So if someone just was scrolling through your phone, until you unlock that with your Face ID, none of the apps are visible.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw that today.
I have seen a lot of people using the beta, which is frustrating as hell because we're told not to publicly use it. But anyway, we'll get into that with Apple PR down the track. The Torch, this is a weird one, but the Torch app in Control Center, when you launch the Torch now, it launches this kind of pop-up at the top of the screen, and you can adjust the brightness up and down, right? But you can also slide to side, adjust the size of the beam.
Really?
Isn't that wild?
It's amazing. Wow. Here's one.
You don't seem amazed.
I'm impressed. But
okay, very good.
Do you think, here's one feature that we were heavily anticipating, and they kind of buried it.
3 words. RCS messaging support.
Yes. Yeah. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, they were never.
I think he mentioned it. I know they're not going to.
They mentioned it in the summary tile.
Yes,
it was.
No, I think he said it. He said, and we've got this and RCS message, and that was it.
Right.
It was like half a second.
See, again, we don't have it, so we can't test it. But we assume it means encrypted end to end.
Yes.
We assume it means high quality videos.
Who you're texting.
Yes, high quality videos and photos.
Still green bubbles.
Yeah, there's no doubt there's still going to be green bubbles. The unanswered questions are
security,
group messages.
Yeah, well, they said that it's not going to ruin a group message.
No, but so you can have a
group message,
and those green bubbles are going to be in the group.
Yes,
that's going to be wild.
Yeah. So I think
it's going to be a massive
theory
pylon.
is that wasn't given the way the keynote was. It was sort of keep it moving.
Yeah.
I think obviously RCS.
They were never going to make a big deal.
That's going to benefit. It's going to be more of a benefit to Android users than iPhone users, really, isn't it? So they didn't want to highlight that.
Speaking of messages,
what else?
Schedule messages.
Yeah,
simple but brilliant.
You could do that with mail for however long, right?
Of course.
So why did it take so long to do that for messages?
Because it's just on a whiteboard and someone didn't get to it till now. I mean, there's got to be a room somewhere here.
Yeah.
If anyone's got a key, take me. I'll pay you. That has a whiteboard in it going ideas.
Yeah.
Don't you reckon?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, it's probably not a whiteboard. It's probably some
encrypted. Yeah.
Cool, slick app website thing that.
Yeah, it's no whiteboard.
Like a Trello board or something.
It's electronic board. Yeah.
And it's just something someone said we should do that.
I agree.
And sometimes you've got to prioritise things.
What do you think of the new Photos app? I see it's sort of slightly tweaked, sort of different look to it. I know there's sort of more highlights at the top, and is that a worry for you? I think what they've done. So I only ever use the Albums tab, really. Yeah.
I'm only ever in Albums and all, basically.
Yeah.
So if you go across to whatever the left-hand one is, and you're in that kind of memory zone, I'm never there. So I feel like what they've done is realised most people are like that, and so they're trying to combine the two. So you've got your kind of album memories that they're generating at the bottom, and all your photos at the top, so you can get between them really easily.
You can also generate memories too. You can create the memories. That's part of our Apple Intelligence too,
which is awesome. But the big thing for me is they've acknowledged that we take a lot of screenshots.
Yeah.
So let's turn that off. So when you're
photos
scrolling
of receipts and stuff,
when you're scrolling through hundreds of photos,
get about
the way I've described it this week is they've made it more like a photo album than a library of pictures you've taken.
Yeah. Rather than a shoebox. It's not a shoebox, it's an album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the theory behind it, I reckon.
Can we move on,
basically there'll be a today, there'll be a yesterday.
Every day you have highlights.
And so when you go yesterday, it won't show you that receipt as you mentioned. It'll just show you the photos.
That's nice.
That's good.
Passwords app as well. We've got
there's a little bit of talk again in the Keyboard Warrior community about, do you reckon that's an actual community?
I don't know.
I think it probably is. They've probably got a membership. They've got a secret handshake.
Maybe.
About this, they're killing one LastPass and one password and stuff like that.
Well, they're actually compatible with it. Right. I learned today that you can actually import all that information into it.
But then what? You don't have to use it anymore?
I don't know. It'll be then part of the system. I think it'll still.
You still need
you can export
one password
and import into it.
See, I haven't had a good look at it yet, but I noticed in one of the kind of screens, it looked like they also had authenticated digits. So I use the Authy app.
Yes, they have. Yes. Rather than going out to Authy, it'll generate that for you. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I had a call about this on the radio, and I said, look, it's great if you're all in on the Apple ecosystem.
Yeah.
But if you switch between computers, phones like I do, I can't put my faith in it because one day I'm going to go, what was that bloody...
What's that password?
How do I get it,
fair enough.
But I respect the fact that the bottom line is I think there's more likelihood of someone utilising a service like this in this secure password app than there is them signing up for LastPass or 1Password.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah,
the more people come to this level of security,
I think so. It's going to make it easier for people to keep track and also change it.
The more they make those two-factor codes accessible, is a good thing.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. Let's move on to iPadOS. And this was impressive. The maths notes.
Oh, was
that cool?
How was that? I'm 1+1 kind of guy, but that
was pretty good.
It's pretty amazing.
And the calculator on the iPad.
There was 14 years and there's never been a calculator.
Why? I wonder why that is.
Because you've got a phone with you all the time. Yeah. What do you use an iPad as a calculator for?
But it's like, imagine the size of the giant scientific calculator.
Good for you, your old man with big eyes and stuff.
Now you can do it. Pretty good.
I mean, I'm not blown away by it, but I am blown away by the handwriting. So the idea here is, if you haven't seen it, folks, use the Apple Pencil and you write 2 + 2. Nothing happens, but you write equals, and it suddenly, this is the thing, not only answers the question, but it answers it not in a font, but essentially in your handwriting.
Yeah, that's cool. That was one of the most in the
It
audience.
is a wow moment.
Everyone went, oh wow! Everyone really, that was a wow moment.
Yeah.
What about the screen share? I reckon that's a cool feature where you can actually write, like this would be good. Again, I'll mention my mum if she needs help. I'm going to say, okay, tap here. You can see, draw an arrow, tap here, press that. So that the screen share, another function of screen share. That's an impressive. Okay, we'll move on.
I was asleep during that bit.
We'll move on.
Not asleep, I was working.
What do you think of the new name for macOS?
What is it?
Sequoia. What is it?
I wouldn't have remembered. It says they had a Q in it.
Sequoia.
If it's not Qantas, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Sequoia.
And
where's that? What is that? Is that a mountain, a place?
I think, is it north, south? I don't know.
Anyone local know what Sequoia is?
We'll look it up.
It's a tree.
It's a tree.
What?
There you go.
That's a real downgrade from
doesn't
a
have
whole
to be a
national
location.
Park.
It's a park.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Everyone relax.
All right, we're good.
Well, okay.
Now, one of the features, this wasn't too bad.
No, this is, you're going to talk about
mirroring. Yes.
And again, to the keyboard warrior community, yes, you've been able to do this with Android phones and Windows computers for some time.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, Apple. But again, this is a subset of iPhone users, because not every iPhone user has a Mac.
Yeah.
But if you're an iPhone user with a Mac, I think
now,
now
the stats about that. What's the attachment rate? I'd love to know.
I mean, it'd be high, but it's nowhere near. Like, it wouldn't be 50%.
Because most people use...
it would not be 50%.
Yeah,
it would not be
most people, because
30%.
They've got a work laptop and it's a PC, right? So not everyone's lucky enough to have a Mac, are they?
I imagine 2 scenarios here. One, I sit down and I've got my phone in my pocket. I don't have to take it out. I just press a button on my laptop.
You're that lazy.
Oh, what are you talking about?
You're that lazy. You're not going to have your phone. I've got my phone next to me all the time.
Yeah, but I don't need to.
So if your phone's over there...
It could be on the screen here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
That's all good.
The other scenario...
I'm thinking this would be good because I've got a massive 2 big monitors at home.
Give yourself a break.
So it'd be easy to...
All right, I've got a 49-inch curved widescreen monitor, right?
Yeah.
So, this was a great example because the phone remains locked.
Yeah.
But I have my Belkin MagSafe kind of mount in front of me, and I have my phone in landscape mode, in standby mode.
Yeah, and it stays like that, doesn't it?
It stays like that. I've got a big clock there, and up on the screen can be my screen mirrored iPhone.
Fair enough.
Mate,
okay,
it's good.
You've convinced me. All right. I like that.
Wow, that was easier than I thought.
What about the window tiling? You know, how you can... I'm
a big fan of that.
Yeah.
They don't call it Windows.
It's called window tiling.
Is it called window
tiling?
Okay.
As far as I know. And then you just drag it to the edge and it just sort of snaps to the edge or to the corner.
Do you know who's had that for a while?
I understand, yes.
Windows.
Yeah, that's right.
but the thing is, right, it's a very different mindset using a Mac, especially on a monitor, because it's so much space and nothing ever... Like on a PC, you've got 3 buttons: close, maximize, minimize, right?
Yeah.
And when you're not maximized, you maximize. When you are maximized, it's bring it back down to scale. There's a full screen and there's no in between with Mac.
Yeah.
And so you always end up with screens
multiple
and things just
windows open,
over on top of each other.
Yeah.
I love the idea of going, you know what, I want a 2x4 and a 4 here and 2 there and just snap it and make it happen.
I'm sure.
What they need to do is make sure they support different grid configurations for a wide screen.
Yeah.
There's that massive super 49-inch widescreen that I've got.
My big 243 inches are like that as well.
You've got to be able to account for everyone, I think. That's
absolutely. Let's talk WatchOS 11.
Yep.
The Vitals app. So this is capturing more of your important metrics.
Yep.
And kind of viewing them sort of to give you more of a see if you're in your typical health range.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's an option to pause your activity rings. Just for the record, I pause them every day.
Rest day.
I pause them every day, yeah.
People were cheering about this feature.
Really?
Rest day.
I mean, I don't think I've closed
every day is a
rings
rest day for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in London, I walked a fair bit, and my watch was like, "Who's? Did you steal this?
What are these rings?
You've got Trevor's watch. What are you doing?" It was like you closed your ring twice in 2 days.
What's going on?
That's remarkable.
Yeah. Did you put it in a blender or something? Your watch? Is that right?
That's my favourite potential. If I was a software engineer, I'd do those kind of really weird prompts. I would definitely do that. If someone hadn't done exercise for 6 months,
what
and they suddenly did, it'd be like, "Did you steal this watch?
Did you kidnap
I'm
Trevor?
calling 000." You know.
Well, you'd love this feature too, training load. So if you're training for a marathon or something, it'll see if you're in the zone. That's pretty cool. There's also pregnancy support too, expectant mums with the pregnancy support. And also too...
Just quickly, on one radio station this morning, someone said that the hiding an app thing was perfect for that because people have pregnancy apps. And so this woman said they found out her brother and sister-in-law were trying for a baby because they'd handed over the phone to look at a photo and it came up with
what's this?
It came up and said, you're ovulating. And so it created a whole conversation at the dinner table. She's like, I wish we'd hidden that app.
Oopsie.
There you go.
There you have it.
The watch has long been, and we go back now several years to when they started
cycle tracking.
One of our, I think that's the last briefing we ever did together.
We were the only men in that briefing. It was just you and me.
It was the last briefing we ever did together.
I think they had to separate.
Do you think that was why?
Yeah.
I think that was the one where you're.
I don't know how to laugh.
I'm pretty sure that was the one where it says, does it tell the husband whether the goals are open or not?
Yeah, whether it's on tonight. We're ready. Let's go. All right. Let's move on. We're getting to Vision OS.
Oh, my God. We've been going this long. We haven't talked about Apple Vision Pro.
We're going to do it right now.
Okay, fair enough.
So Vision OS 2 is...
Hang on, buried the lead. Apple Vision Pro is coming to Australia.
Well, I was getting to that.
No,
sort of flowing
July
through.
12.
Okay.
Pre-sale June 28.
We're getting the Vision Pro.
$5,999.
Start saving.
And ladies and gentlemen, go back to this very day, this very studio last year.
When
that's what I said it would cost.
We speculated, we were right. 6K. We said 6K.
Because at one point I said...
Despite the currency fluctuations.
I said, that's exactly what we said. I looked at the transcript this morning. Because I said at one point, if we could get... That's Apple Podcast transcript.
Under 6K.
I said, if they could get to 5.5, that'd be a miracle. That's what I said.
Bad luck,
Yeah. It's a lot of money.
No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. And I know a lot of the interviews I've done about it, it said, and when you say, look, it's going to be available from 5,999, they go, ooh, that's...
I've dropped the from. I don't want people to know that you could pay more.
Yeah. It's
plus lenses.
Yes.
And I haven't clarified this, but the lens thing was curious. There was like two prices, $179 and $250. Is it?
Well, it's one for prescription and one readers. You can get readers.
What's a reader?
Reader is, how if you roughly know you're 1.5 or 1.7, the one like the ones you buy in the chemist. The readers.
Oh,
and then there's prescription.
I'd never looked at my prescription, right? Because I just go to OPSM and they give me new glasses, right?
Yeah, I looked them up.
So I went to Target Optical here to get a prescription because I didn't have a prescription with me.
Oh, there you have it, right?
Because one of us didn't go home, so I couldn't go to OPSN and get my prescrition.
Okay, I got mine.
So I went to Target Optical, and I'm reading this thing, and I'm like, "This is insane."
Blind.
It's just like it's plus this, plus that, this angle. It's a lot of information.
The values, and that,
So that's the expensive one. That's the $250, is it?
Yeah, that's the prescription.
And if you just think you're a plus 7.5,
if you think you're that's a reader. That's as far as I know.
What's your plus?
I think I'm 1.5.
I'm 1.75 now.
Oh, yes, I'm better than you. Is that better than you? Or yes.
The higher the number, the better you are.
The lower, it's like golf. The lower, the better.
Totally like golf.
Yeah, it's like golf.
It doesn't make you any younger than you are right now, you old man. Just remember that.
Righto. So
your
how do you
birth
reckon?
certificate still says the same thing.
Big question, mate. Mm-hmm. How will this go in Australia, do you think?
We won't.
Do you think people are going to buy this?
Oh, yeah, there'll be people that buy it.
I think...
The worst thing Apple does is offer 14-day returns because a lot of people will buy it and try it because the in-store demo is amazing, but I think you want to take it home.
Yeah, I actually did. I told you I did the in-store demo here. Yeah. I'm thinking, what did you call me an idiot or something? But I said, I'm
definitely called you an idiot.
Because because I remember when I was in the US, remember I came back to Vegas to watch South play, remember the NRL? And that was like 3 days after it went on sale. And I'm thinking, I'm going to have a look at this.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of buying it.
I know I think I talked you out of it.
Yeah, I was thinking. I asked the guy. I said, "Look, what's?" It was funny because it was on a. I don't think they do this in stores anymore because it was just too troublesome, right? But they had it up on a stand, and every second person went to grab it, and they go, "Sorry, no, sir." And I was with the guy for 5 minutes, and he told, no joke, 20 people
not
you can't touch it, right?
Yeah.
And I said, "What's the go? Do you do a demo?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You come back." This was like about midday, and he goes, "Yeah, we can fit you in 8:30 tonight." I went, "Yeah, mate, all right, maybe next time." And but this time, I thought I'll ask, and the guy said it was 12:30. He goes, "Yeah, we can fit you in at 1:30." I went, "Hey,
nice."
I said, "Why not? I'll have a go."
So, having experienced it again, I maintain my statement that it's the most amazing thing I've ever used, and the quality is mind-blowing. The pixel density, the resolution is unbelievable.
But I hear a but coming here.
But I don't know what I need it for.
Yeah.
If I had 6 disposable grand...
Yeah. What you do, he's doing very well.
Oh, give it a rest. Just pay the tax. I can't justify it, but I've never used it for more than 25, 30 minutes, right? Yeah. And I think that's what I need to understand is, I want to use the big screen. I want to... Yeah. I'm not an NBA fan, but I like that feature of Vision OS 2 where you can actually have the massive Mac screen. Now, that's pretty cool. Mega.
Yeah, and and the quality, the resolution's better. Before that wasn't 4K.
So I think about Wednesday night, editing the videos, right? Yep. If I can, with a Mac Studio, pair it up and have 2 screens. One is the preview window, one is the timeline, and I can use that because I can use the keyboard and mouse. Yeah, that's brilliant. It works. That might work for me, but I don't know that my endurance to actually use it and wear it for that long is a good thing. So that's going to be a challenge for me. But I think watching a piece of content on, like I can't wait to sit on my lounge with a 100-inch TV in front of me and go, I'll see the 100 inches and go 200 maybe, Yeah,
that's impressive. And like, you know me, I got a full-on home theatre in my house.
You hadn't mentioned.
I got a theatre in my house, right? Okay. So I'm thinking... It's great, and the quality. Like I was watching Avatar: Way of Water 3D, was amazing, and I love the fact you could choose. You want to sit in the middle of the cinema, the front row, back row, and I'm thinking, but this is just me.
Yeah.
Like what we do, like Joe and I, we watch a movie together, and that's why the theatre's there. We watch something together. Yeah. And so that's great, and like I would be maybe interested in doing it on a flight, take it on a plane. Although see the size of the carry case for it?
Yeah,
it's big, but. That would be a good use for it as well.
Yeah.
But I remember the original demo, watching sport.
Oh, mate.
I said, take my money now
wait till
if
you
I could watch sport like that.
Immersive video. So there's this new thing. Oh, well, not new. But there's 2 things. There's spatial photos and video, and there's immersive video. Spatial is what's recorded on the Vision Pro or an iPhone, and it's basically 3D photos and video.
Yep.
Immersive video is 180-degree video recorded either on a great Canon camera with a new lens they've made or the Blackmagic camera they're making, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like they show you some pretty awesome immersive content, both nature, wildlife, and sport. Which is the only disappointment I had there was last year that you were in the dugout of the baseball.
Yeah.
So there's no baseball in this one. I was pretty filthy.
Well, you know what? I think sport could be the killer app there.
So
imagine this, right? I think we might have discussed this before. Imagine, say that the NRL rights, right, come up for sale. And part of it
there's an immersive right.
Well, imagine if you could choose to sit on the sideline with the players or... I don't know, next to the commentary box. You could choose where you want to sit. I would watch the hell out of that.
When the demo they've got now is the NBA have done an amazing job building an app that allows you to watch 5 things at once, right? One really big screen and then 2 on either side, or stats.
Can you do that on the app here with the Vision? I think you can.
They'll show you the basics of it, right?
Right?
And what they've done with Vision OS 2 is they've made that an API. So that, or a kit, or whatever they call these things, so that the developers can do that. Now, it's too late. But imagine Stan Sport had this for the Olympics. So imagine you're sitting there, France is on,
and we're
swimming.
I'm
going to go, exactly. I'm going to go swimming
because there are
cycling, like 10 things on at the same time. I'm going to put it all on.
Yeah.
And imagine KO split screen on Apple TV is awesome.
Yeah.
Imagine KO.
That'd be cool.
Allow me to put main feed, pit camera, timing.
Formula 1.
Mate, and then...
That doesn't exist now.
No.
You can do
split screen, but I want to be able to move the windows, right? Yeah. And so then imagine this now. There's another kit or whatever they call them that allows the Vision Pro to more precisely place something on a flat surface. Remember that demo? I saw a video, a bloke made a concept.
Yeah, the Formula 1 track. Yeah.
Mate, take my money now. And this is the thing, right?
There are uses, I think.
This is what matters. And that's why Dub is where Vision Pro was announced.
Yes.
And is essentially rebirthed for the rest of the world because the developers have to make it.
Yeah.
I spoke to a bloke from New Zealand.
There's more than 2,000 apps just for Vision Pro now.
Yeah. I spoke to a bloke from this was a really awkwardly funny conversation. He was a developer from New Zealand, and the app, a name I forget if anyone knows it.
It was Crouton.
Yeah, that's
Crouton,
it.
Yeah.
And
it was half an hour ago. Do you ever remember?
It wasn't long ago. Great app for meal planning and recipes, right? And then he'd made a Vision Pro version.
Yeah.
And he mentioned timers. He said, oh, mate, I watched this great video from the Wall Street Journal, and she put a timer on here. He goes, that was my app.
Oh. Really?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
And so
You showed me that too. That's pretty
Wall
good.
Street Journal used his timers in his
And he
cooking
said
thing.
too, when you take it off, you leave it near the stove. You take it off, you come back, it's still stuck
That's
above
it.
the stove.
This is what I need to understand through the review is how long does stuff stay in situ? Mate, I am going to put a screen in every bedroom.
Yep.
And then come back later and go,
see if they're still
have a look
there.
at this. Like, can you imagine walking room to room and still seeing, like, here's your monitor for your computer, here's KO Sports, here's Netflix, and, like, every room you go in, something different's playing.
How was the comfort level for you? Was it comfortable?
I think that's going to be my challenge.
Heavy, you reckon? I know you complain about a big phone, right? Are you going to complain about the heavy, the weight of this as well? Or?
I'll be completely honest with you, right? I did my hair because I had teeth. You know I'm normally wearing a hat, right?
Yeah.
So there's two options for the band around the back and then the one that kind of goes over.
Takes the weight.
I didn't want to switch to the other one for fear of stuffing up the hair and looking like an idiot on television, right?
Okay.
So I think at home I'm probably more looking to take the weight of the unit.
Right.
I think that's going to be the thing. You know, the weight on your forehead.
Yeah. It's a bit here, sort of top.
It feels top heavy to me.
Yeah. No,
that's what I'm nervous about.
I remember my initial turn a year ago, it was quite comfortable. This time at the Apple Store, I think it wasn't. They did my face scans and all that and gave me the right size. And, I've got a big head, of course, so they gave me the bigger strap.
Oh, self-awareness is strong.
It's. They said, how's it feeling?
They had to put a different lens on the camera here.
It's
like, look at the size of his head.
It's a wide angle, that's right. But no, it was still, look, I think, it just reminded me of the quality of the experience.
Mate,
that's the word that came to mind.
And when you're in the home screen and just the icons for photos and stuff.
And when you look at them, they highlight, I'm thinking, that's amazing. Yeah.
Controlling something with your eye and the click of your finger.
That's incredible. But let me ask you this, right? We've used a lot of VR headsets in the past, right?
Sorry, this is spatial computer.
Spatial computer. You wear it on your head. Now, we've used a lot in the past. They're good for the novelty's great.
Yeah.
Do you think Apple has got the clout to make this, like what they did? Remember when they introduced the iPod, right? There were MP3 players before.
Yep.
iPod, unbelievable. Does this have that potential for them? For Apple's magic wand on a product, it normally works, right? Yep. Do you reckon this could be the breakthrough to make this more a mainstream?
The only thing that troubles it is Wall Street.
But the price of it too
is Wall Street. Because investors and all those investment wankers, they want growth and returns on. This is a 10-year plan.
Oh, of course.
This is a 10-year plan. And we said this last year. Yeah. The Vision, when the Apple Vision comes out in 5 years, and it's not a Pro because it doesn't have as many cameras and stuff, but it still does a lot of the cool things, and it's more affordable, whatever, it starts to get legs. Their biggest challenge is, I've finished using it, it's great, I put it away, and I forget it's there, and 2 weeks later I have another look, and then it's 4 weeks later, and then it's the time between uses becomes longer. And how do they let me know there's new stuff? That's what they need. Is they need to be able to say, guys, put your Vision Pro back on. There's like this unbelievable new
20
thing.
new apps,
because they need.
Don't you get? I suppose you don't get notifications on other devices, do you?
Well, that's the thing. Is my iPhone going to tell me about new things that I should try on Vision Pro? Because some developers who are here right now. I was talking to the kid that does. He's a kid. He's like 20 something. He was a kid when I met him at Dub 2017. Who builds the FCM app, right? And I saw him today at the visitor centre, and he said, "I'm going to try and have an app ready. He's going to buy one here so that he can have one ready for the Australian launch because he wants to ride the spike."
Of course.
And there's so many things you can do with it, but we haven't seen them yet. We need developers to build it,
but there was
build it and they will come. That's
there was a studio though. The developers can go to. There was a studio where they could try it and run the code on it.
So what he said to me was the simulator that you can have on your computer to build the apps and everything. It's not enough to do some of the things. And so you got to have one. And so. He's going to bite the bullet, and
because I think
that's what we need. That's what's going to be exciting. Is what's built for it.
Apple's got the sort of the cloud as a brand to sort of bring this, like how it's like. It reminds you of when. Do you remember years ago when they had wireless charging on the iPhone 10 for the first time?
Yeah,
and everyone's going, "That's amazing, wireless charging."
Oh yeah, the same year.
And and I said to some of my, I said, "Look, that's been around for a while. They didn't invent that, but." They were so taken by this as being just amazing. Do you reckon that could potentially be?
There's no doubt
that same way.
If it works, it works because it's a better product.
Oh, yeah.
and a better
Yeah.
ecosystem.
Well, my
I'm
quote-
sorry,
remember
but
my
you, get
quote?
you get a Meta Quest,
Yeah.
and there's not as good an ecosystem
Yeah.
already as Apple has
of
with
course.
Vision Pro.
Yeah, of course. Well, remember my famous quote from
Stephen French.
Stephen French about the...
Did the Procreate guys mention that?
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah.
I gave you up
Because-
to the Procreate guys
Yeah.
who are Aussies. I said, mate, because I said to them, what's it feel like to get mentioned at a keynote? And he goes, mate, it's unbelievable. I said, it's kind of like if they take one of our quotes and put them in a keynote. I said, that bloke over there, call him Stephen French because that's what they call him on.
You were sitting next to me. I went, oh, that's what went over.
The excitement turned to
Still
disappointment
there.
very quickly.
They got Tech Guide right. That's the main thing.
Yeah, have you
They got Tech Guide
edited it and told them it looks
No.
like it's right? I would edit that
Why
and
would I do
change
that?
it because then it looks right.
It's all good, mate. I know it was there.
Vision Pro, July 12, pre-orders June 28.
At 10 p.m.
5,999. Stephen Fennick's going to buy two.
Up to 666, I think, for the terabyte.
did you work
yeah,
out?
1
Yeah.
terabyte, 666. It's
That's
on the
actually
website.
not a bad.
It's on the website.
I know, but you've got to go and look for it. That's not a bad leap to the extra
Yeah,
size.
I'd pay the extra 6. You go big or go home, I'd say. If you're going to go that hard, go all the way.
All the details of Dub's announcements at techguide.com.au, EFTM.com. There's a lot. It's weird because there's a lot.
A lot to get
From a
through.
little,
I think we
like
did
it
that.
felt like a
We
lot
covered
of-
it. I think we
lot of
covered it
little
like
things.
a tarpaulin today.
No, there's a
Pretty
few things we missed. Bold and underlying messages.
good. Okay, well, we've got the
Sorry
private.
about that.
We've got the private for that.
Oh, okay, we're going to cover more tech in the private.
I don't know.
I was going to just bash you up.
Do your best.
Thank you to Arlo, thank you to Netgear, and thank you to Apple for having us.
For having us in this
Back
amazing
again.
studio. Look at this. Look
Back-
at us.
Hey, back again next week in our amazing studio. What are you talking about?
Of course.
This could be
is-
animated.
Yeah.
We could put our own,
Do you reckon we can get it back? We need to expand the studio a little bit at home.
but it's static.
Okay.
Also, I don't have this much space. Go away.
All right.
See you, mate.
Bye-bye.